Hey guys, I'm Chuck, and those are my Charlie cards. And these right here, these are my fancy Charlie chips. In the town I live in, we have a happy face mowed right into the side of a hill. That's why this is Happy Face Holdem. The goal, log 500 hours of 2-3 no limit Holdem, and have more Charlie chips at the end of the session than we started with. Let's get into the action.
All right, guys. Hey, I'm doing my intro at the end of the day. I just got home. It's about 12:30 in the morning. I played for 6.5 hours in this session, and this session was juicy. Swingy and juicy and bomb pots galore. We did a bomb pot every 30 minutes on the dealer change. And I think the word about Chumash Casino where I went has gotten out because everybody and their mother was there. My wait time after my 2-hour drive up, my wait was 3 hours to get into the game. Got into the game, played for 6.5 hours. You'll have to wait till the end to see how I did. But the wait list was long, all night long. I didn't get it on camera, but we had a power outage. Lasted for about, 30, 40 seconds. Their backup generators didn't kick on for a while. But anyways, juicy, swingy, and bomb pots galore is how this one went. So I'm really excited to share some of these hands with you guys. Let's go take a look.
All right, the dealer wasted no time getting us into this one. Looking down at Jack 9 suited, I'm under the gun, and I had opened the pot to 15 and got 2 callers as we went to the flop. All right, and this flop comes down King 7 deuce with 2 spades on the board. Love my flush draw. I'm going to continue out here. I want to keep everybody in, so I bet 15. I do get both callers. We're $90 in the pot as we go to the turn. And the turn comes down the beautiful 5 of spades, giving us our flush. I'm going to assemble a bet of $25 after the big blind checks over to us. I do want to keep as many players in this pot as I can. So putting in my 25, we do get a call from the button. And then, lo and behold, the beautiful 3-bet to 100 from the big blind. I'm happy to see that with 240 in the pot. I could decide to raise here, but I opt to just flat call the extra because I do want to try to keep the button player in the hand. And I could actually be beat right here with his re-raise when the front door flush hits. This is again only my second hand of the night, so I haven't played with these players yet. So again, just gonna make the call. We lose the button and we go to the river. So the river comes down the 4 hearts, which is really just a blank here. And when he checks over to me, I have the option to put in a raise for some value, but I do opt to check just in case I'm bet. But I think after he checks, I probably have the best hand here. The main reason that I decided to check here is because this player to the right, that's Think Blue, a fellow vlogger. So nice just to go up and take a hand down against him in the second hand of the night. Okay, moving along to the next hand, I'm sitting in the cutoff with pocket queens. Gotta love those red ladies. I have 1 limper ahead of me, so I opt to 3-bet it to $20. Do want to raise it up, thin the field a little bit. My 3-bet pre-flop range has been $15 if nobody's in and $20 if it's a limped or straddled pot. So we do get 2 callers, and we're going to go 3 ways to a flop with $61 in this pot. So as I mentioned, fellow blogger Stephen Clark, aka Think Blue Poker, is sitting over here to the right. So if you want to check out one of his videos, just I'll link to it right up there. Go ahead and take a look. He streamed this same session. I'm actually going to do this session in 2 parts. I have too many hands to review, so we're looking at 10 today, and I'll have more to look at next time. And with this flop coming down, Ace King 10 with 2 spades on the board, it is not looking pretty. So after both players check over to me, I am happy with my queens to just check back here for some pot control and reassess on the turn. So with the turn coming down to 3 of clubs, after both players again check to me, I am likely good in this hand and probably have the best hand, but it's too scary with the ace and the king. Someone could easily be slow playing me. Not likely in a 2-3 game. I think they'd lead out, but I'm happy to just check again, and we'll take another look at a free river card. So the river does break out, and action checks through again. I turn my hand over, and my queens do stand, so we'll take this little pot down. Not sure if there's a whole lot that I could have done differently here. I possibly could have bet the turn or bet the river for some value. I don't recall what either player showed at the end of that hand. But let me know down in the comments. What do you think? Go ahead and comment down there. How would you play this hand differently? Maybe earn a little more value and put some more Charlie chips in my stack. All right, in this hand, I'm sitting on the big blind with pocket nines. The under the gun 2 player has been playing very slow tonight. He's taking forever to make any kinds of decisions. But when it gets around to him, he eventually pops it to $20. Okay, it really sucks to play a hand like this out of position. So I'm going to take some initiative, and I'm going to 3-bet him to $45. So the action folds around to him, and for an extra 25 bucks, I don't know what there really is to think about here, but he thinks, and he's been thinking all night about every little decision that he has to make. And it's just really slowing the game down and not, taking some of the fun out of it for me. But anyways, he must have a small or medium pair that he's got to think this long about it. But after putting in, 30, 40, 50 seconds of thought, he finally does make the call, and we're going to go heads up to the flop. And the flop comes down with a 9 in the window, giving me middle set. So I'm really liking this flop. Now remember, I was the aggressor taking initiative pre-flop, so I have to lead out with some sort of bet here. I did put him on a middle pair. I'm still thinking that's what he's got. So I assemble a bet, and I throw out 55, just a little, right about half pot size, a little over half the pot. Now looking back at this bet, I think I still like it. There are 2 clubs on the board. 10 jack could get there, so pretty connected and wet board. So I do like this bet. And again, he's going to sit here and think about it forever. If for some reason he is playing 10 jack or has a ace X of clubs in his hand, he is going to have to, pay to see the turn and the river. And we're inflating this pot, and that's the goal here. I'm not too afraid of him drawing out. I think my hand will hold regardless of what happens. But I really do like this bet here. What do you think? Go ahead and comment down below and let me know if you'd play this hand the same. So after all that thinking, he finally does let the hand go, and we're going to take down this little pot and move on to the next hand. Okay, spoiler alert, I don't win this one, but that's okay. I'm going to stay, same play I've been doing, take initiative, be aggressive. I'm sitting in the cutoff. 1 player ahead of me limps. I look down at 3-4 diamonds. I'm suited, I'm connected, and I want to be the aggressor. Again, it's been working. So I go ahead and bump this one up to 25 bucks. I like my play pre-flop with 3-4 suited. I got suited connectors. I like the 3-bet to 25. I don't mind that at all. The small blind's going to come along for the ride, and then our original lipper, he's going to come along for the ride too. So we're going to go 3 ways to a flop with 75 bucks in this pot. Do you agree? Did I pre-flop play this right? Where I misstep is after the flop. But let's take a look. All right, so this flop comes down 6-9-9 with 2 spades. And I go ahead and continue with the C-bet here. I'm going to try to tell the same story that I did pre-flop. I have aces, I have kings, I have queens. Do you believe me? Well, yeah, I think I like this play still, but maybe not. So I go ahead and assemble a bet for 45 and lead out for a little less than half pot. And both players are going to come along for the ride. So yeah, now I'm a little bit scared. When the turn comes down, the 10 of diamonds, I have to continue my story. I'm not going to win this pot if I don't bet. Maybe I could have been saved if somebody bet ahead of me, but that wasn't the case here. So the under the gun player, he takes a little while to think about it, but the old man checks. So I got to keep the pressure on. I got to tell my story. So I think, at this level, 100 bucks here, we're putting stacks on the line. If I make it 100 here, we're going for 400 on the river. So I assemble a bet and make it 100 bucks. Did I say I was scared? Well, when old man calls my $100 bet at a turn, causes the player before him to fold, I know I'm beat. So when the dealer turns a spade and the old man said, "Is that a spade?" He claimed he couldn't see the cards all night, and she responds yes. Well, he leans back, gets pretty comfortable, and he assembles a bet for $125. Yeah, pretty sure I'm beat now. All right, guys, and this one under the gun hit opened to 15, under the gun 2 had called, and I'm sitting in the cutoff with 9-10 suited, and I just opt to flat this one rather than 3-bet this one. So when the action gets around to the button in this hand, he elects to 3-bet it to 65, probably trying to thin the field. He's likely 3-betting pretty light here from the button position. So when under the gun calls, it's a non-decision for me to call the extra 50, getting 4-1 on my money with my suited connectors here. So let's go see a flop. All right, so when this flop comes down 9-8 ace, I hit middle pair, but I'm expecting the pre-flop aggressor on the button to go ahead and lead out and bet this flop. So I'm a little interested when the action checks all the way through. So when the turn comes down to 4 diamonds and the action checks to me from under the gun, I have an opportunity to take this pot down, representing the ace. I think the normal line would have been I would have checked the flop, letting the pre-flop aggressor on the button take the lead. So when he doesn't, I assemble a bet just to try to buy this pot right now. You know, it's always possible that the button holds a big ace or a flop to set or two pair. I mean, he could easily re-raise my bet here, but I think I have enough showdown value with the 9 with another card to come. I'm not too worried right here. I think it's a good play to put the pressure on. You know, I think by betting a little bit over half pot, it puts pressure on weaker aces and hands like jacks, queens, or kings. I don't think that they're going to be able to call a bet like this. I could have easily sized up a little bit bigger, but looking back, this bet works.
Or what? No. You'll see it later.
All right, in this hand, we're sitting on the button. Under the gun 2 had opened the action to 15, and I had 3-bet to 35, looking down at ace 10 offsuit. I think this 3-bet is pretty light here. I should have saved this for you know, suited connectors or a bigger ace, ace king, ace queen. The other gun 2 player down there, he's the guy that's been thinking all night long. So the big blind is going to come along for the ride, and when it gets back around to under the gun 2, after thinking about it for nearly days, again, $20 a call. What's there to think about? All right, so we eventually get to see a flop, and it comes down pretty favorable. Queen, queen, ace with 2 spades on the board. So I'm pretty confident that I'm ahead right here. With 2 queens on the board, it's unlikely that either one of my opponents holds a queen. So it checks over to me, and I'm going to put in a little less than half pot bet of $45 and see who I can get to come along for the ride. So the big blind's out, and under the gun 2 is going to think. Surprised? He's going to think about it for a while. But nice to see that he eventually puts in the call for $45. So we're going to go to the turn. When the turn comes down to king of diamonds, I'm really liking this turn card. I think it's the best turn card I could have asked for, being that if my opponent does hold an ace, we're at least playing to a chop now. But who wants to chop anyways? So I assemble a bet and place $100 out there in the middle, putting the pressure on, thinking that if he has connected with his board, he's going to come along for a half pot bet. But at the end, he opts to fold, and we'll take this one down. I'm okay with that. All right, for this next one, we're sitting on the button again when the cutoff opens for 20 bucks. Look down at 8-9 suited, and I'm going to put the pressure on here. I want to go heads up, get everybody out of the way. So I 3-bet to $50. Okay, and the plan worked. Action folds around, and it gets back to the cutoff, and he's going to oblige and put in the extra, and we're going to go heads up to the flop. All right, with 110 in the pot, when the flop comes down, completely missing me, deuce, deuce, ace with 2 diamonds on the board, I'm a little shocked when the cutoff checks over to me. I think if he holds any pair, he leads out right here, or if he has any diamond, he's leading out right here. So I'm going to make a play and just try to take this pot down. I don't want to see another card. I opt to bet on the bigger side compared to what I've done all night. I make it 75, and that's going to get the job done. All right, in this one, I'm sitting in the small blind in a straddled pot. The button elects to bump it up to $30 when I look down at the kings. I love red royalty, so I'm going to 3-bet this and make it $90, and I'm going to look for a way to play for stacks. The button over here, he's got about 335 behind. In the last hand we just played together with that ace deuce deuce flop, the button here, he had made a comment that he just can't get one past me tonight. So I think that gives you a little heads up of where this one's going to go. So the action finally folds around and makes its way back to the button, and he will elect to make the call for 90 total. And he's sitting there with about 235 behind when we go heads up to this flop. So he finishes assembling his bet, and we're going to go to the flop with 191 in this pot. I'm just figuring, regardless of the flop, we're getting stacks in one way or another. Unless, of course, this flop comes down ace high, then I might hesitate on leading out on the flop. Anyways, so the flop comes down, ace 6 jack rainbow. Pretty dry board. I really like this flop having an overpair here. So I'm going to build up this pot and assemble a bet for 100, just about half pot size. But oops, the button here he's all in before I even push my bet across the line. So I say out loud, pocket jacks, huh? Throw in 1 chip, signifying the call, and he rolls over pocket 8s. Second rule of poker, don't pay off your opponent. I should have seen this when he went all in so quickly, but it's hard to let go of those overpairs. One of the leaks in my game that I need to fix. In the next immediate hand, the player to my left flopped a set of 6s and did not re-raise me. I turned 2 pair and I rivered a flush. Unfortunately, my 2 pair was because it paired the board, giving him a full house, and I'm felted. Alright, I'm in for a second bullet, starting over. I look down at 2 black rockets sitting under the gun, so I elect to open for $20. The cutoff's going to come along for the ride, and we're going to go heads up with 45 in the pot. So the flop comes down 4-9 deuce rainbow, very dry, very uncoordinated board. So this is an easy $20 continuation bet here, just to try to build up this pot. Without too much hesitation, the cutoff makes the call for 20, and we see an 8 of spades hit the turn. So this brings in a backdoor flush draw, but I'm thinking he's probably got an overpair, the pre-flop play, with his continuation, calling my bet on the flop, leads me to believe he's probably got 10s, jacks, maybe queens. So I'm going to size up just a little bit. I think he likes his hand, and I'm going to put 50 out there into the pot. So he thinks about it for just a minute. It doesn't take too long to think about it, and he assembles the $50 call and pushes it over the line. Again, I think he's playing an overpair here. I'm not worried about the flush. So we've successfully inflated this pot, and now we're going to go see the river. So the river turns the 8 of diamonds, pairing the board. Not a card that has me worried in the least. Again, I still think he's playing an overpair here. I guess ace king, ace queen, ace X holding might play this way as well, but unlikely because I have double blockers to an ace X holding. So trying to go for some value, I mean to put out a bet for 75, but I actually put out a bet for 90. I'm not sure that my slight misstep in my bet made too much of a difference. He goes into the tank for 20, maybe 30 seconds, but he can't gather the nerve to make the call. He mucks his cards, and we're going to take this pot down. He asks, "Did you have me beat?" Well, yes, I bet, and you folded. Your beat. All right, in this hand, in a straddled pot with 1 limper ahead of me, I look down at pocket 9s on the button. So I'm happy to put a little squeeze on here and bump it up to $25. All night I've either raised as I entered the pot, or I've re-raised if we already have players in. Only 2 hands, maybe 3 that I can remember, I flatted. So as the action moved around here, only the limper decides to call my 3-bet, and we're going to go heads up to see the flop. So with 61 in the pot, the flop comes down 4-7-4 with 2 spades. Somewhat wet, but I don't think it's going to hit his range here. I think it's going to likely hit my range on the button more than it's going to hit his. I do decide to down bet just slightly to $25 into the $61 pot. I think this is the way I'm going to get some information out of him. He checked to me, I put in a small bet. If he elects to check raise, I'm just going to lay this down. If he elects for a call, then I'm going to just evaluate the turn and be happy that I built this pot up a little bit. So the turn comes off, the Queen of Hearts. He does check to me again, and I put in a bet to 50. Well, it doesn't take long to get the information that I was looking for on the flop. I get it here when he elects to put in a fairly quick raise. Pretty clear on beat here. I fold, and he rolls over 10-4 suited for flop trips. All right, so we can't win them all, but that's poker. So this is vlog 1 of 2 on this session. That was 10 hands I gave you. I did promise you guys some bomb pots. Those will be coming on the next video I drop. If you like this video, please like it by hitting the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget, hit that notification bell so you get to see all the bomb pots as soon as I drop that video. Thanks for joining, guys.